welcome to Top Fives, the show of everything. Top Fives, presented by the Sex Effects. I'm Joey Parati,
and I'm Sean Day.
And folks, we have a musical little number for you this
Very
evening.
musical, yes.
Very musical indeed. It's going to make you want to, you know what I'm saying? You might get into it, and I hope that you get into it with us. But before we get to all the getting with, and Jonathan, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just chilling. I spent the day with my girlfriend in Dallas today, so that was nice. And she's actually here right now in the room, so just chilling.
Hello, Dallas.
Watching
Make
the
an
show
appearance.
along with us. So, but
can she hear?
She's
or is this like a one-way phone call?
She's It's a one-way phone call, but she's
Poor
watching
thing.
the stream, so she's getting like everything like a second or two after.
Oh, okay. Very
so
good.
She'll hear part of this in real time somewhat. So
I hate listening to one side of a phone call. Like, it's like, can we just be on speaker? May I comment on the things that are happening? Like, I can't do anything else because this is happening. So cheers to her and her patience for putting up with this. So cheers.
Cheers
to Dallas.
But other than that, dude, it's kind of the same old. Just chilling. Just trying to get through this week. We are. Oh man, excuse me. We are heading into September. Like literally.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
When did that happen? That's tomorrow, man.
That is tomorrow, man. So I'm.
So if
excited.
you're listening to this on Friday when the episode drops, it's already September.
Yeah.
Already
September,
an anachronistic moment.
We're getting close. We're getting close to the holiday season, and I am actually kind of excited for the fall time, kind of like holiday season. And I know it's another holiday with COVID and all that shit, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes this year. So,
but yeah, no, I always it's weird to say, I like the air. Like,
yeah, it's something about
around the winter and the
air,
holidays.
the aroma.
Like it just smells fresher. Maybe more people have trees on their cars or something. I don't know, but like, it just smells like pine needles and snow, and I love that.
Snow. But
what color snow? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Other than that, dude, I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Just trying to get through this week. I apologize for the yawning. I've been just up.
God damn it! I'm empathetic.
Yeah, dude. I know. I'm not even embarrassed about the yawning and stuff because days like this where we podcast, so later in the day, it's like, dude, yeah, we got our whole days we went through. So, but I'm always excited to
be clear. We podcast the same day and time every week.
Yes.
So every time is a later time.
Yes, every time's a later time. Unless we have
do like Saturday, Sunday morning shows. That could be fun.
We could switch
like,
it up. I'm actually
instead of a beer, have coffee and just like.
Dude, maybe we'll do that once a month or something. We do like a.
That could be fun.
Show.
Morning,
Ooh,
yeah.
I'm down with it, dude.
Sean and Joey in the morning.
Ooh, I'm gonna show you what I'm drinking right now. Pick this up. This is a random find that I found at Target. It's a Crown Royal apple. They call it a Washington apple beverage, and it's kind of like it's got Canadian whiskey, apple, cranberry, and other natural flavors, and carbonated vegetable apple juice, something like that.
So it's a hard cider or hard seltzer cider?
It tastes like cider, but it has a whiskey. I think a whiskey.
So it's like the High Noon, but for whiskey.
It's like that. Yes. Exactly.
Jesus Christ! What will they think of next?
It's actually pretty good. It's the apple flavor obviously it tastes like a cider, so it just definitely hides all the alcohol in it. I always trip out because the labels are kind of cool. It's got like this kind of texture on it and stuff. So I'm really enjoying these. I bought like a 4-pack of these yesterday. So
love it. How many have you had?
It's my second one. Yeah.
Okay.
So far.
So it's a little soon to be saying love, don't you think?
It is, but I kind of like it because I do like cider, and even though it's whiskey, it does. I mean, it's more apple over whiskey, I think. So it's kind of easy to get down, easy to drink.
Love that. Very nice.
Yeah.
Sounds deadly.
That's my beverage for today.
Mine is, as ever, Stella Artois. I just like it.
It's so good, right?
I just like it. I sat in a bar for like the first time in a minute. Sunday, bar down at the corner of the block, Greens, and I sat at the bar and had a Stella. But when like you go to like a dive and like it's kind of sour smelling a little bit,
Yeah.
And then you notice the towel is like right in front of you, and like you
Yeah.
just kind of smell the towel and the pickup, and it's just like,
It's like,
I didn't move though. Like it was kind of an empty place, and I could have moved, and I was just like, eh.
yeah, I feel you on that one. Yeah, there's plenty of bars that are like that for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
But,
yeah, you know what I do miss though? I do miss that like, and I know one of our topics tonight is going to be kind of touching on this, but when you go to a concert venue, especially a small little club, and you get that like, you get smell of like beer, cigarettes, and like I don't know something else, but it's weirdly comforting because you're like, oh, I'm in a venue, we're seeing music and whatever. Yeah, I don't know, there's something strangely familiar and comforting about that. So
I feel like movie theaters kind of have the same
exactly
thing going on.
movie
Their own
theaters,
distinct smell and feeling.
yes,
And,
yeah. Oh yeah, so yeah, we're all into that.
We love smells on this show. We got to do like
Yes.
top 5 smells.
Top 5 smells.
Top 5 smells.
Anyways, Joey,
Go.
how are you doing this week, man? How's everything with you, man?
I'm doing all right. I went I tried out a new doctor. No, I went to an optometrist for the first time in a minute. These glasses I've had for probably over 5 years, so it's time.
Oh man, it's time,
because I'm
dude.
doing this shit all the time, where I got to see things straighter,
Yeah.
more focused. But I think I'm gonna try contacts. I'm terrified.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely terrified. But you know what? Look at these things. Look at these brows. God made these to move in front of people, and like, it's time.
It's time,
It's
dude. I think
time.
you can do some contacts. I've always been hesitant about contacts, and Dallas has been pushing me a little bit more to try them out because I'm like, yeah, if I just have, especially for like concerts and like specific things that you go to, it's like, oh yeah, I wish I didn't have to hold, have my glasses or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's worth it, man. And then yeah, get some new. I need to actually. I'm kind of on the same level as you. I need to get an eye exam pretty soon. As I was driving this week too, I realized like, yeah, I can't really like the signs and street signs and all that
It's
stuff.
not fun, dude.
It's not fun, dude. So I gotta get.
Do you drive at night?
Not as often, but yeah, I think for sure for any future kind of trips, especially if I like drive to San Francisco or something like at night.
Yeah.
You need to have good vision, man. Got to.
You gots to.
Gots to, man.
You gots to.
Gotta take care of our eyes, y'all.
Gotta take care of numero un and dos.
Yes.
This is the dos. This is the un. Depending on if you're right or left handed.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So yeah, doing that. What else? Got to see my mom had us over for a lovely dinner party on Saturday, and got to see my cousin Jesse, his lovely wife Vanessa, and their little one Mateo. In addition to my mom, my dad, my brother, and his girl, and then my aunt Kath and her guy, and it was a good time, man. It was a very good time, lovely time seeing family. Rode in a Tesla for the first time in my life.
Oh,
I
crazy.
Ubered over to my parents because
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to have a little fun, and and a fucking Tesla picked me up. My brother was like, "Did you order like Uber Black?" I was like, "No, I just got regular
Just a
fucking
regular Uber. Okay.
And I had Marty with me, and I had him in a backpack, to like at least keep him contained. And he fucking wiggled out of the backpack. And every time the woman driving looked back, his hair is just fucking everywhere.
No.
It felt so bad. But them's the breaks, and that happened. So yeah, I rode in an Uber.
Did you like being in a? Have you ridden in an electric car before, or?
I don't know about full on electric like that.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? What was that? But what struck me the most was the door handles. I was like, how the fuck do I open this thing?
Oh yeah.
Do I just stick my hand in there? Like what? And I was pissed that it wasn't one of those where the doors open up like the fucking DeLorean.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, and like, yeah, it was red leather, but I think it was red leather covering. So I didn't really get a good feel for the real interior or anything like that.
Yeah. There's some interesting stuff. Like what trips me out about the Teslas is like when you open the front hood, there's like nothing in there. Like
right.
A lot of the and then I've only ridden in probably once. But I remember like the screen is pretty crazy with the huge like flat screen kind of display.
That screen it's bigger than my biggest computer.
It's insane.
You know what I mean?
And I've seen like some interesting stuff you could do with it. I've even seen like because for music, producers can like produce on it apparently, or you can kind of run all sorts of stuff on it. So
it's a car.
It's a car.
It's a car. Yeah. These are big time distractions, and I know I sound like an 80-year-old, but like, come on. Like, Jesus.
Until it's the self-driving car, like 100% self-driving car, that's the only kind of like, well, these kind of entertainment systems, if we're not driving, will be like a replacement for that, or yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. But electric cars are trippy. Like what I was surprised about, because I rode in I think it's a Honda Bolt, or is it? I think it's Honda. It's one of those. It's a smaller kind of hatchback car, but fully electric. And what I was surprised about electric cars, and that one, the Bolt specifically, was 100% electric. It didn't like switch over to gas. You know, like kind of like a hybrid car.
Right.
And the torque and the acceleration on those cars are very like. I mean, they just super fast. I mean, they just like zip by. So. Yeah. That's the part that I was a little surprised about. I was like, oh yeah, these things can kind of like fly a little bit. You know, they can really, really go fast. So
I don't know if it was my driver or the car, but it was very herky jerky when she was like, I mean, she wasn't
the best driver.
But like, but yeah, just very like just abrupt stops and abrupt goes, like, or on the like ones when we're off the freeway. I was like, can we just go?
Yeah,
you know,
can we
just smooth this out? But yeah, no, she was lovely. Had a wonderful ride. Thank you so much. I forget your name. Yeah. But yeah, man. What else? I don't know.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
You got anything like pop culture related or
nothing really, man? I mean,
nah,
nothing really. We talked about Spider-Man last time and the No Way Home trailer. We had a very Spider-Man centric episode, so check that out, guys. If you haven't,
it's a good one.
It's a good one.
We love Spidey.
We love Spidey, y'all. So
it's whiptastic.
But that's pretty much it. That's all I can think of, dude, at the moment. Yeah, that's it.
That's that. You know what I watched again for like the 900th time? This was it the weekend or the last week? The Irishman.
Oh, dude.
And I have to just recommend it again because I know a lot of people are skeptical of it because of you know the run time. Fuck you, get over yourself. Watch this movie. You watch it in parts if you have to, but just fucking watch it. And I was doing work. I was like designing something, and had that on while I was working on that. So I really only listened to the movie. Equally as enjoyable of an experience.
Yeah.
Like actually without the eye-popping like visuals and shit like that, I was almost less distracted, and I made a lot more connections to things on this watch. You know what I mean? So it was interesting. It was
I gotta give another watch because I watched it when it like kind of came out. I think that's when the last time I saw it, and then I watched it. I think I watched it with my brother, because it was like kind of holiday season, right, when it came out.
Yeah.
So I think I watched it with my brother, and then I watched it in pieces because it was quite a long movie, but I really enjoyed it from what I remember. And yeah, you can't go wrong with Scorsese and obviously his films that he produces and showcases. And I'm actually now I kind of want to check it out again when I have a spare 3 hours. I'm like
3.5. 3:29.
Yeah. But that's cool, dude. Yeah, man. I'm actually, I'm trying to think of like, I haven't really watched anything recently that's like, I'm trying to think. No, haven't really watched anything recently. So hopefully this week I'll try to dive into some more movies and stuff.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
There we go.
Hey. Yeah, I feel like what I watched something on the Criterion Channel. The Eyes of Laura Mars.
Ooh.
With Faye Dunaway. And a young Tommy Lee Jones. I've never seen Tommy Lee Jones so young.
Yeah.
It was all right.
I like that title. That's a cool title.
It's a cool title. But yeah, it was also like I was mainly just listening to it, so I can't really tell you too much about it. Like photographer of models, and she poses them in certain ways, and then they wind up dead in that pose.
What?
That was not bad.
All right.
Yeah. I guess that's it. There's stuff was announced for like DC Fandom and stuff like that, but we can talk about that stuff once that actually happens.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Um,
we'll get a new Batman trailer. We'll get stuff on the new Shazam movie. We'll get
some more of that. Yeah,
some more of that.
I'm down. I'm down with it.
Yeah,
Check it out.
figure it out. All right, Jonathan.
Yes.
Let's get to the reason we're here tonight. We've left enough time. We're good. We can get to the lists now. Would you like to go first? Would you like I to go first, sir?
You know what? I'll go first, dude.
All right, man.
So this is we're having a music centric kind of night. So I just recently went to a concert, my first concert since I can't remember, since the whole pandemic started, and it's
this was your first one.
First one.
You've been out.
I've been out, like, as far as going to like restaurants, and then I did go to emo night a few weeks ago, and I would consider that more of like kind of a DJ kind of night. But I was at a
thing, yeah.
I was at a venue, which was obviously my first time in the last like 2 years since COVID started.
Yeah.
But it just makes me miss concerts so much. And this last week I went to a concert, and man, I just like, this is why I love music so much. It's like that weird thing of like, gosh, this thing has been missing from my life for how long, and I could totally feel for other people who are missing that kind of experience of going to shows and concerts. So, Joey, with that in mind, what are your top 5 favorite concerts? Your most memorable concerts there?
This was a very hard list to narrow down. I'm going to add a caveat to my list and just say that I'm not counting Outside Lands because it's a festival.
Okay.
Because do you pick just one act from that whole thing? Where a concert is a night of your life. Where festival's weekend. It's a different experience. It can be on your list. I'm just saying, for my list, this is how I was able to exclude it and fit these 5 on there. All right. Yeah. Number 5, I'm going to go Blink-182 and No Doubt at Mountain View. Shoreline Amphitheater. And I believe Paramore opened for them.
I think it was Paramore. Yeah, it was a big bill right there, man.
Maybe not. I saw Paramore with No Doubt there with Danny Rodriguez. He's like, yo, I got this extra No Doubt ticket. Yeah, I want to go. Love No Doubt. But anything Gwen does solo, count me out. Let's see. That's mean. She's a hell of a performer. She's amazing. I remember like the big bathtub on the stage, and like, just kind of the use of props and scenery.
Yeah.
They were sets for each song. It was very cool, very well done, and very elegantly staged and transitioned between each. And she's just a powerhouse of a performer. You know what I mean? And I don't know that I've ever seen Blink-182. I think this is the best they ever played when we saw them this time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're very hit and miss, and mostly miss, honestly.
Yeah.
So they were the tightest, but I think No Doubt was still the most memorable. But I was happy to hear Blink at like the top of their game, because that's right after they released the Untitled album.
That's right.
2003. Yeah. So this would have been probably 2004 that we saw them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good time.
Nice. Shoreline Amphitheater too.
Shoreline Amphitheater.
I've seen a bunch of shows
me,
there.
your dad. Who else? There was someone else.
Oh man, yeah. I'm trying to think.
I don't remember. Anyway,
it feels like so long ago too, huh?
it was so long ago that we're talking over 15 years. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Drink to that.
Drink to that. Okay. Moving on. Number 4. Again, with your dad, stepping even further back in time. We've talked about this concert a lot on our program, but it really did leave kind of an everlasting impression, at least on me, but I think on all of us. Sum 41 was the headliner. What's their name? We cover them. Fucking.
Starting Line.
Thank you. The Starting Line. I kept wanting to say It Like You Mean It, which is the name of the album. Starting Line, and then No Use for a Name. opened,
Yes.
which No Use for a Name, you're like, I've never heard of them, and you might have heard of the Starting Line. So it's like they were just starting out.
Yeah.
And like they were great. No Use for a Name was cool. And then Sum 41 just blew us away. Again, like when I think of that concert, I think of him just chucking his guitar off stage and someone just throwing a guitar and him catching it and somehow wrapping, the fucking strap around him and playing all in one motion. It's
Yeah.
like I'd never seen anything like that before. And you're in that moment, I'm like, I'll never be that. I'll never be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like that's incredible.
I think I remember that was the Does This Look Infected tour. It was like their second album or something like that. Or
Okay.
that particular.
That sounds.
I remember like there was either set pieces or like images of from like with the theme of the album. That's the one thing I remember about that, and I don't necessarily remember if that was the main tour for that album or like they released that album and then with the Hell song and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
I don't remember a thing about like the production of it or anything. That's completely wiped from my mind. I just remember like their movements and like the way they just fucking flailed around. It was great. That was pure fucking punk energy.
Okay, speaking of the Starting Line, did you buy one of the Starting Line CDs there too?
I did.
You did like
I bought Say It Like You Mean It. Yeah.
Like some
I think
legit
we all
merch.
did.
Yeah, legit merch from those guys, and that's like one thing that I'm trying to do more often now when I go to shows is like, you know what, a lot of bands do like vinyl and stuff, and it's like, oh dude, I kind of miss buying like music there, up there. So
yeah, like, and I love the idea of a CD. It's affordable to do, but how do you listen to a CD anymore? Like I bought a CD of, who's the band we played with, Death and Taxes. That was the last CD I bought at a show. And I tried to put it in my radio or stereo in my car, and it fucking ate it. The CD's still in there and it won't eject, it won't play. So I'm like, well, this sucks. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I think if you're selling physical media, it has to be either a tape or vinyl.
Yeah, which is funny because it's a little bit older than CDs, but like,
and yet
I love how
it's current.
Yeah, it's current. It's something about having obviously records. We talk about records all the time on the show, and like having that kind of the artwork and the all the different things that come with the album. Sometimes they're like also exclusive to the tour. Like I think I like that. I always like that with some bands where they have like specific things that you can only get on tour when you see them. That's always a cool thing. So,
and records, while even higher quality than CDs, are also collectibles. Like they're a collector's item, because you get a CD, the plastic jewel case cracks down the center like a windshield. They're ugly to look at. You could always just store them in binders and shit like that and throw away. You always lost the cases eventually, but like a record, you can't really do that. It's like, it's all, I don't know. Anyway, we like vinyl on this show, kids.
We love vinyl. Yes,
we do. Number 3. Okay, so this one, I thought about it for the first time in a long time this weekend. My old film professor Luis posted a picture. He brought his 17 18-year-old son to a concert in a stadium. And tell me if you can guess the band. The kid is dressed, long black hair, guy liner, black tight jeans, a black dress shirt, and a long red tie.
Oh, you're talking about Green Day here. Yeah?
Yes. So they were at the Hella Mega Tour at Pac Bell Park. And so they saw, I believe it was Fall Out Boy, Weezer, and Green Day. And he's filming his kid who's 18. Like, how long ago did American Idiot come out? 04?
04, I think. Yeah,
so we're talking 17 years ago. So maybe as long as this kid's been on the planet, and he's singing Wake Me Up When September Ends and like crying, and I'm just like, holy cow. Like they're still relevant, I guess, to some,
very impactful. Yeah.
Wow. And like, that's great. I'm so happy. But it really like, kind of made me, because I'd kind of dismissed, like I would love to see Green Day again, but I don't know that I'd pay to see Green Day again, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like we've seen them a multitude of
Oh
times.
yeah, a lot of times.
Um, and anyway, I'm going down a cynical rabbit hole that I'm just gonna just back away from before I step in it, and just say that it made me reflect on the times that we've seen Green Day at the Giants Stadium, and I think we may have seen them twice there.
Yeah.
Um, and they're incredible. Like, you know, you can say what you want about Green Day. I haven't listened to the last few albums. That's a lie. I listened to the last one,
Oh, you know, I haven't
Father
really
of All Mothers or whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Awful, awful. Um, so I'm a little jaded because I grew up loving them, but I you know, whatever records they're putting out in the moment, they're still a really great live band.
Oh yeah,
They still put on a
a
fucking show.
great
I will
show.
watch
Yeah.
Green Day. I if Green Day was playing down the street every night, you know, and I could just go in and tip, I'd go and watch them every night and tip. I don't want to deal with the crowds. I don't want to deal with, you know, the bullshit because I'm a cranky old man. But I love Green Day, and they're really wonderful performers. This was a very, I recognize that my monologue here has been very windy. Very like, is he complimenting them? Is he insulting them?
Yeah.
I'm very sorry about that. I'm even confused myself, but I love Green Day. And yeah, those first 6, 7, 8 records, whatever it was, really great. Anyway.
Yeah.
It was very cool to see someone that young, like,
Yeah, be really
being
into the
that
band and
moved by it, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Number 2, I'm going to set the stage for you, kids. um I'm at SF State, hating it, you know. You moved away, blah blah blah. I was just kind of alone and depressed and shit, and I'm in math class, which I hate math, and I get a text from your dad saying, I've got an extra ticket to Arctic Monkeys tonight, leave class right now, hop on BART, meet me here. And I did, and it was fucking awesome. It was right after the Favorite Worst Nightmare drops.
Oh yeah, so you
And
know all those songs.
so yeah, it's just the first 2 albums, which are the best 2 albums in my opinion. And they didn't play Marty Baum, which still to this day, I'm so sad I've never heard that song live. That's okay. But no, it was fucking awesome. And we've told this story a million times on the show. Should I tell it again?
Yeah, hit it.
Okay.
Love this.
Well, first of all, I will say I did buy a piece of merch that night. I bought an Arctic Monkeys shirt that I still have. It's gray and it has a little penguin emblem on it. It's kind of cool. Anyway, at the end of the night, your dad, during the concert, your dad is like, hey, do you see that guy backstage? He's pointing. We're up at the Warfield. We're kind of behind the sound booth. We can see backstage. And I was like, yeah. He's like, that's my buddy Jeff from Sheffield. He's their manager now. I was like, oh, shit. After the show, we walk out, and your dad walks right up to the security guard. Hey, is Jeff around? Who's asking? Tell him it's Daisy from Sheffield. Oh, hang on a second. And the guy leaves, and then your dad's buddy comes out with 2 things of fucking whiskey. He's like, Daisy, you know, and they're talking, and he's telling us about how the Arctic Monkeys are pissed because they're only like 20 and in the States, and they're not allowed to drink and like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, they're like cordoning off all the fans, and we're on the inside of the barrier. And they walk past us. I think I said, you guys are the only fucking thing in music right now, and they were just like, thanks. They walk past, and then I looked down and I realized I was wearing the t-shirt that I had bought, which is the just most uncool fucking thing ever. To be like meeting the band and wearing their t-shirt, and you're not like an 18-year-old chick, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah. Anyway, damn, that happened. Cheers,
man.
My number 1 favorite show, though, has to be when we saw Paul McCartney at Dodger Stadium.
That was like transcending just everything we've seen, man.
Yes. We just afterwards we stood on your balcony and looked out over Alhambra and just like
Right? Yeah,
in silence,
we're
just
still kind of on
gobsmacked,
disbelief.
just
Yeah.
taking it in. Like we literally saw a living legend. You know what I mean? Like um, I remember telling coworkers before the show, I was like, Lennon and McCartney are kind of like, I think the Mozart of our time. Like they're the only songwriters that are going to be talked about 200-300 years from now. And my buddy was like, Dylan. I was like, true, Dylan. But I think it does remain maybe only those three.
Yeah.
In terms of craft and like people covering it. Whoops.
And multiple
into
generations.
Excuse me, Mike.
Of like really knowing the songs and everything.
Yes, considered classics on another tier.
Yeah, Like I remember when we were, I think we mentioned this before, but like standing in line and just like seeing every different generation of people that were there, supporting Paul McCartney, and I was like, what the? It was almost like, it's like obvious because it's like, yeah, they've been around for this long and have so much praise and all this stuff, but at the same time, it was like almost kind of unbelievable. Like you're thinking like, wow, the Beatles and Paul McCartney were able to really influence a lot of music and bands of that are here today, or people listening to these kind of groups and their music over so many years. It's like I don't think we'll ever get anyone like an artist like that. In a long time.
I don't know that we can anymore. Because it's so saturated of a playing field now, but the fact that he's out there, he's not one of these guys that has to tour for the end of it till the end of his life to like pay for his lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like there are those musicians who are just touring because that's all they know how to do, and it's just kind of a nostalgia thing. He's out there because he wants to be out there. Mm-hmm. He's 79 years old, a billionaire. He doesn't have to do this. He's like, but it's my job. I like it. And like he does a hell of a job at it. I was so worried because my mom had sent me that I really do not like James Corden. I'm just gonna draw a line in the sand and just say I really don't like James Corden. And by extension I hate fucking carpool karaoke. And my mom sent me Paul McCartney on carpool karaoke, and it was just sad to me. And like his vocals weren't that good, and it was like a month or two before we went to see him. So I was like going into it, I was like, well, we're gonna be able to say we saw him, but he's not gonna be that good, and it's okay. He fucking rocked, dude. He didn't sound old and feeble. He's fucking rocked.
He put a lot of he put 100%.
He must have been on barbiturates.
Yeah.
Yes.
Funny enough, I was rewatching some of the videos that we took. Like I just took some videos of it, and I was showing Dallas, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, it's unbelievable. Like to hear those songs, in person, and to see him performing, and to you could see he's very passionate about it still to this day. And I think that's
Ringo,
and that too. The whole like kind of like little surprise at the end of kind of near the end of the show, having Ringo Starr come up there and just cool. Play some songs, and just thinking by the end of the night we were like, dude, we saw like the two kind of remaining Beatles. I mean that's just it's still kind of it still
very
makes
special.
It's very special, man. It's hard to think of, like, I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to see this again, or and seeing the influence again of across different generations, and being there to witness that kind of thing. So damn. Yeah, Paul McCartney, dude. I like your list, Joey. There's a lot of good memories in there, I would say.
Yes,
in some of those concerts, and of course, just judging by some of the concerts you mentioned, Joey and I have been to a lot of concerts together. Like growing up, being in our band, and getting all these influences. My dad taking us to concerts, and us going to some of the concerts of our own. It's still an experience that I love sharing with like good friends, and I think there's just nothing that can touch like seeing a band live, or I mean anyone live, and I think that's what's always been the thing that I'm still drawn to about music. It could be the music and like, yeah, this album's great, but like seeing the band up close and really really hearing those songs and just being just captured by their presence.
It's different.
It's a different thing, man.
It's different.
And still, I still hope that will never go away, because I feel like live music will always is here to stay. I think a lot of people still love going to see bands. So
Sean.
Yes.
That was a haiku.
That was a haiku. Yes. Yeah, I love that list, dude. Okay. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. It was very hard to curate. I want to hear yours.
Well, I'm gonna say that number one is Paul McCartney. I think that was the one that obviously we shared together. We went to go. You came down here to LA. I remember we went to get some drinks beforehand, down in that area near the Dodger Stadium, and I gotta say, I maybe was. I mean, at the time, maybe I wasn't expecting it to be that I mean, I know it's Paul McCartney. We're preparing to see him, but maybe it didn't hit me until we were like sitting there, like, waiting to see him live, and they didn't have an opening act. They had kind of like this guy DJing a little bit, but that was it, dude. And then he played for like, I don't know, a couple hours. So it was such a it almost like I don't want to sound corny or anything, but like a transcending kind of experience. Like, it was really so different. And I don't think I've ever witnessed a concert like that with that kind of obviously great songs, great performances. The band that was behind him was also incredible. He had a lot of great musicians playing with him. And of course, Paul McCartney just doing his best, and just, man, I mean, and just seeing, I mean, all those songs he played. I mean, he's just such a great songwriter, such a great performer. Unbelievable, man. So good. Yeah.
So good.
That's my number one. And I do hope one day he will. I don't know if he's going to tour again, but if he does, and if he announces that tour, we are definitely going again, man. So
I liked McCartney 3.
There we go. I still have to listen to all that. So
listen to it.
I have to. Fun. Yeah. So I'm going to work my way back. Number 5 is actually the concert I went to this Friday. I went to go see Coheed and Cambria and the Used, some bands from the kind of emo days, I would say. But they had a band called Meet Me at the Altar, this all chick band, kind of pop punk band, who opened for them. And it was at this place called the 5 Point Amphitheater in Irvine. And it's my first, I think probably why it's made my list tonight is because it's my first real concert back since all the COVID stuff's happened. And I went with Odalis, my girlfriend, and my friend Charles Grace. And he's a huge Coheed and Cambria. I think he's seen him like 9 times. So immediately when that concert ticket came up on the internet, I was like, yo, you should, I've never seen Coheed. I like their music, and, you're kind of the person I want to hit up to go see him, because I'm sure you would love this. And yeah, it was such a fun concert. The amphitheater, there was like, it was kind of like Shoreline a little bit. Like, it had like a separate area for food trucks and, kind of, like vendors and all that kind of stuff. It was it was really organized. And it's the first place I went to with like porta potties that flushed, apparently. Like, it was a really nice place.
That's a bougie ass porta potty.
Dude, honestly, it was great. Yeah, so I mean, all the bands, Coheed was just, I mean, I know their music enough, but like, man, seeing them live and, just the amount of chemistry they have. They are going into, I think next year is going to be their 20th anniversary. So they've been playing for like, 20 years almost. So they've been a great band to see live. And I'm just happy that I got to experience that and experience it with people that, share their love, love for music. And, it was quite an experience. And of course, not being able to see a band for like, 2 years. And so that's one it's on my list because it is fresh in my head. And I did get so excited just seeing a band and just like listening to music and getting excited hearing that like kick drum and the drums like beating and all the, how loud it is and all that kind of stuff. So,
hell yeah.
Number 4, I'm going to go Arctic Monkeys. We were talking about this off air. It's the Fox Theater performance they had. I'm going to say the 2013 kind of one where AM just released, and I know they were
playing. Show.
That was a good show, man. They were playing a lot of songs obviously off of AM, and I still love, AM's a great record of theirs. But it's great to see the Arctic Monkeys where they have a few albums under the belt. They've got, this new record, which was their biggest record, I think, especially in the United States.
Thing was everywhere.
Everywhere,
rightfully
dude.
So.
And to also see, seeing the Arctic Monkeys kind of earlier in their career and, kind of seeing where they're at now and just seeing they're so tight as a band. They have such a great repertoire of music and just songs to play. The energy live is just something else. You can kind of feel it in the music, especially like their first album and their second album, like that energy they have. And I just feel like it just gets amplified 10 times more while you're seeing them live. Yeah, that's probably one of my most memorable kind of Arctic Monkeys experiences. So Arctic Monkeys number 4, Fox Theater.
Love it.
Number 3, I'm going to go with Green Day as well, man. An AT&T Park experience as well. That was so crazy because we were at Giant Stadium and they closed down kind of the field and they put like these kind of flooring down. So we were like in, the kind of thick of the Giant Stadium. So it was a really cool experience. I can't really remember. It was their American Idiot tour. I remember like one of the first ones we saw. And that was just the moment where I was like, yo, Green Day is just like, again, kind of going off your story of, different generations and different, people being into Green Day, is seeing like, man, this band is just surpassed, where it was before. And, I was honestly happy for them because they've, they just, they have this whole crowd that's there to see them. Again, they have such a repertoire of songs and music, from their, from a lot of their albums, Dookie and everything. And then American Idiot, seeing them, some of those songs performed live was just such an experience too as well. Especially Jesus of Suburbia, like that song, like play the whole thing, fuck yeah. So Green Day, seeing them live. I do wish I got to see Green Day earlier on in their careers. I think we saw them at like the Pop Disaster tour or something, like in 2002 or something like that. But
they just released their greatest hits.
That's right. Yeah, the greatest hits. Yeah. So that was probably another
international super hits.
Another compared kind of time we saw them, and they were just kind of just on the top of their game and really giving a great performance that was so memorable and fun. So, so Green Day for number 3, and then number 2, one of my favorite bands I've been listening to a lot is this band Hiatus Coyote. And they're from Australia. They just released an album this year, but they only play so much in the United States. And I think this is a very rare occasion where you have a band that it just only appears so often. And I got to see them at the Observatory in Santa Ana, which is kind of close to like Anaheim, like Disneyland area. And I saw them in 2018.
Right on.
And it's, I've been listening to this band for a few years, and, they only do so many shows in the United States. So it was like a very rare occasion to go see them. And I was just blown away. I mean, the band, one, they're so talented and just such great performers. Napalm, their lead singer, is just a killer singer. She's so soulful and she has this kind of glow and presence to her. I don't know. She just kind of captivates the whole audience and everything. And I just really enjoyed that performance. And just getting to see them, I think they only played like 1 or 2 dates in California, and then they played like 2 days in New York, and that was it. They didn't play anywhere else in the United States. So I felt very lucky to be able to go see them, and I do hope with this whole pandemic, because they just released an album, so I'm hoping they'll do some touring when the time is right. And I honestly think this is their year for a lot of the music that I think they're going to get more kind of like just Green Day and American Idiot. Like, I feel like they're going to kind of like start to cater towards more people outside of just kind of their main fan base. So
that's when they break.
That's when they break, y'all. So that's it. And then number 1, Paul McCartney. So, yeah.
That's a hell of a list, Jonathan.
Yes.
That's a hell of a list. I love it.
I've just based off these lists tonight, man. I fucking love music, man. And just seeing concerts, and like, I can't wait to see another concert with you, dude. And you know, I guess kind of off the honorable mentions, we went to go see the last Shadow Puppets at the.
I was just thinking about that.
Is it the Fillmore? Fillmore, right?
That was the Fillmore, yeah.
That was awesome. And they kind of had a similar thing to Highest Coyote. They only played like 2 days or something in the United States. They only played like California.
One LA, one New York.
Yeah. So it was
Or SF.
SF, right? Yeah. So it was that was a great concert. I mean, and they had that string quartet and stuff they with them and everything.
Oh, man, it was so good.
It was so good, dude.
It was so fucking good.
Yeah, that's my honorable mention because I know that's one we shared together too as well. Like we've loved the Last Shadow Puppets and kind of the side thing from Alex Turner from the Arctic Monkeys and like the limited concerts they do and shows they do is just like, yeah, I mean, might as well try to see a show like this if it's only going to happen twice in the year or whatever. So
yeah, very happy to see them, and especially because Arctic Monkeys are now like a stadium band almost, where this was a smaller thing.
It was a
more
intimate
and
very
cool.
And then that's kind of and we've seen a lot of concerts together, dude. Pop Disaster Tour, like, oh man, a lot of stuff.
A lot of good things.
A lot of good things, y'all.
A lot of good things. Jonathan, I've got a top 5 for you if you're ready for it.
Hit me with it.
Hit me with your best shot. Unfortunately, we're not going to talk about Pat Benatar. I don't think. Jonathan, summertime is coming to a close. It's making me reflect. Ooh. What are your top 5 favorite summertime albums?
Oh man. Some of these are a mixture. I've had some recent ones and some ones I just kind of like to throw on. So I'm going to go number 5. For some weird reason, I always like the Take Off Your Pants and Jacket album from Blink as a summertime kind of groove. Yeah, I mean, I remember especially when we were in high school and, it reminded me, I just love playing that kind of music, and there's so many great songs off that album. I think weren't they celebrating like an anniversary for that album this year, right? I think
20 years,
20 years,
dude.
something like that, right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it has obviously, it's probably one of my favorite Blink albums, and excuse me. Yeah, it's obviously nostalgic for me because I just remember listening to it so heavily around that time when it came out, and it did kind of inspire, I'm sure kind of influence us on Blind Issues in our band, and we played a few of those covers and everything, and maybe I just put it on just quite a lot while we're in summertime. Maybe we're going camping or whatever. I mean, whatever we're doing in the summer. And I mean, it doesn't have to be for summertime. I feel like it's an album that you can probably listen to any time of the year, but it has just such fun songs, such energetic kind of feel to it. You got Rock Show and all these kind of songs and everything like that. So it's become one of my favorite ones. So yeah, number 5.
Love that. First Date is absolutely a summer jam.
Summer jam, dude.
Right on.
Number 4, I'm gonna go. Funny enough, I'm gonna go Daft Punk, Random Access Memories. So we got Get Lucky, all those songs on there. I don't know. There's something about this album that's like, maybe they played some of the singles a lot during the summertime, and that's why I kind of associate it with summer. But it is a solid record. It's definitely different for kind of Daft Punk. It's one of their last kind of main releases. It's one of their less electronic releases, which I still appreciate about that. They really went for hiring a lot of session musicians and players for that, and it has that kind of vibe when you think of Get Lucky and that kind of feel for the song. It's such a when I think summertime, it's like you're having fun, you're going out, you're doing all sorts of stuff. So I think that it gives you a lot of those vibes when I listen to that album. So Random Access Memories, Daft Punk, 2013 when that released. Number 3, there's a lot of Arctic Monkeys albums, and it's tough. I actually put Suck It and See on here for my Arctic Monkeys album that I associate with the summertime. Maybe because it has such a kind of I wouldn't say Beach Boys, but it has that I don't know. If I feel like I'm going to be at the beach listening to this album, and or I'm going, outside and having fun outside, and it has that kind of feel to it. It has kind of a dreamy state kind of feel to it at times.
Like you're in the sun a little too long.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Running around.
Those are the things that kind of pop up in my head when I think of those albums. There's a lot of, I could say like maybe their first 2 records, they're very like I think they're like party albums. Like I can associate those with those kind of like memories or that kind of scene. But for Suck It and See, and I'm sure we mentioned this album on the show before, but it has made my list today because of that reason. So Suck It and See, yeah,
Love it.
Number 2. This is actually a recent band I am like totally obsessed with right now, and I just discovered them this last week. So they're called Origami Angel, and their album Somewhere City, which released in 2018, is on repeat right now for me. And I know the summer's coming to a close. I know I kind of caught this album near the end of the summer, but I am associating this album with this kind of year and this this kind of summertime. And they're kind of like, I'm trying to think of like a band that they remind me of. They kind of remind me of a little bit of Motion City Soundtrack, like Weezer a little bit. It's kind of pop punk kind of music, but it's not like heavy kind of hybrided pop punk these days. I really like this band. I don't know why. I feel like it's gonna become my next like band I'm gonna really be into for this next year.
Nice.
And I kind of associate it with this kind of summer now, and kind of a recent memories and stuff like that. So yeah, that's number 2. And number 1, I did mention this band in my live albums, and the band is Hiatus Coyote, and they did release a record this year. And I've been playing this record quite often this summer in the last few months, and it's called Mood Valiant by Hiatus Coyote. And man, it's just got the Hiatus Coyote is just on another level, man. They have such a interesting style. I mean, they kind of move towards kind of like sultry, like soul R&B music, I would say, if you have to put them in like a genre. But they're just such an interesting kind of beast. I feel like they're on like a different kind of wavelength than some of the other kind of R&B groups and stuff like that. And I'm gonna think of this album all the time every summer because they were kind of gearing up to release it during this kind of summertime, and I listen to it quite a lot, and I can associate obviously a lot of memories with that. Hanging out in the summer and everything, even if it is during this COVID time and not much is going on. It will always go down as kind of one of my favorite albums in recent memory. So that is my top 5, dude. Some old ones, some kind of recent stuff that kind of hits, but that's how I'm feeling for summertime.
It's a damn good list, Shawnee Day.
Thank you.
It's a damn good list. You see this beer? I've turned completely red.
You got the glow, dude.
It's because I'm on camera and I'm aware.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Anyway, I'm excited to talk summertime albums.
I know. What are your top 5 summertime albums, Joey?
Well, that was a good list. It's going to be a tough act to follow. I, too, had a Blink as my number 5. I had Enema the State.
Ooh, I can also see that being a good,
really good summertime album, but I'm going to and go with an album already mentioned tonight, Say It Like You Mean It, Starting Line.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a summer romance album, baby. Like that is, if like you're like 13 and like in love, like, you know what I mean? And you listen to that album in the summertime, fucking not that I ever did that, but I'm just saying it hits. I'm just saying it hits.
It hits, man. It's a good album. It's a solid album.
It's such a like perfect artifact of like the pop punk era. Like if anyone was like define pop punk to me, I would just give them that album.
Yeah. Like listen to
like over Green Day, over Blink, I would be like, just listen to this album and I think you'll kind of get it. Like that's 2003, 2004. Like is it pop? Is it punk? Is it, I don't know.
I like that, dude. Yeah.
Yes. Number 4, I would go Weezer, the Green Album.
Ooh.
Maybe because Island in the Sun is such a vacation song. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. But the whole album is it's light. They're playing in the sun. You know what I mean? Like it's like fucking Pinkerton is a gut like punch, and it's in a cave, and it's but like Green Album is like, hey, I'm happy now, and like like we're making music, and like it's, I think it's a lighter Weezer album, but it's like perfect for the summertime. and the sounds of it are just like kind of bouncy and groovy, and
Yeah.
it's a fun album. It's a good album. It's not my go-to Weezer album, but it is my go-to Weezer summer album.
There we go. Nice.
So number 3, I'm gonna go the Anchorman soundtrack.
The Anchorman soundtrack. All right.
The Anchorman soundtrack. This has a bunch of like 70. When I think of summertime, if like I were to equate it with like a decade, it probably would be like the 70s. Whenever I think of the 70s,
yeah.
I think of like, California and the sunset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not the neighborhood, but like at sunset.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got here? We've got Ride Captain Ride by Blues Image. Sunshine Go Away Today by Jonathan Edwards. Like that's a perfect fucking summer song. Treat Her Like a Lady, Groovy Situation, Carry On Wayward Son. I can take that or leave it. I'm kind of over that fucking song appearing in movies. Grazing in the Grass, yes. Cherry Cherry, That Lady, Shannon, Use Me, Help Yourself.
Some good songs,
She's
man.
Gone.
Yeah,
Afternoon Delight.
Afternoon
Delight.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, I know that's not like is that cheating to put a soundtrack on there?
No, because I think it's
Okay.
a collection of songs that can really, I think really capture that time, right? So I think
Captures it for me.
Yeah, you got multiple artists and bands that like really kind of capture that. So. And I like that kind of reach into the soundtracks, especially from a movie. Something that reminds you of that. Do you associate Anchorman as like kind of a summertime movie, or is it kind of like just
definitely,
or more just the soundtrack?
I don't know if I've ever thought of it that way. It came out in the summertime. I definitely saw it like 2 or 3 times in the theater that summer.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
I
wonder if that has any influence
know.
on your choice. You know what I mean? So.
Well, you know what it is? It's a good album to like put around if you're like hanging out at a pool or like on vacation or just trying to kind of enjoy the sun, like it's that kind of fucking album.
Yeah. I like that. Oh, cool.
Sun, summertime. It's all connected.
It's all connects.
All right. Number 2. I'm going to go Rubber Soul. The Beatles.
Ooh, a little Beatles record. All right.
This is like when the sun's out and the windows are open and like it's summertime. Rubber Soul is the first album I think of to throw on. Drive My Car. Kicks it off in a real kind of Hollywood sort of fucking fun way. You Won't See Me is just a groove that like it's such a good rhythm. The Word. The world love, like it's the right energy for summertime. You know what I mean? The imagery in the album, even the album cover where they're in the brown jackets in the garden, the whole thing feels like a summer kind of affair. Yeah.
I like it. Rubber Soul. I was curious if you were gonna mention a Beatles record tonight for one of these.
And I think this still is my favorite all-time Beatles record.
Ooh, man, we might have to do another rework on the revisit on the top 5 Beatles records. That goes back to we did a weekly segment for a second. We've got Mike Day, not a summer album, but there always used to be a song of the summer at the clubs in Europe. Ibiza, Majorca. White Lines, Don't Do It by Melly Mel.
Ooh.
Was the one that was awesome. Cool. Yeah.
That's cool. I did think about like summertime songs as well, but that's another list for another day.
Yeah.
Number 1 is your number 3, Suck It and See.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
It is the imagery in the album is very summertime. He talks about the weather in summer or like the seasons a lot in the album. I don't know why, but the last track,
I'm trying to think of the last track now.
I know it. I can hear it in my head. I can't think of it. I'm looking it up. But the last track to me is very summertime for whatever reason. It almost sounds like a 70s song. Uh,
Is it
are you beating me to it?
the
Damn,
blanc?
that's where you're wrong.
Yeah, that's where you're wrong. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? Like She's Thunderstorms. Okay, it starts off like at the end of winter. But like the as the album moves along, it moves into the summertime. Um, Once you get to like All My Own Stunts or Library Pictures, you're in summer. And I don't know, the Reckless Serenade. Reckless Serenade is
Yeah,
such a
it's such a oh man, it's such a good album.
I love that. It's a perfect song. But anyway, we that's the summer. That album came out in the summertime. I think whenever I think of that song, and specifically when I listen to the one we just mentioned, I've already forgotten the name of it. That's where you're wrong. I think about us driving back from like a Target run in college back to like East Campus. That stretch of like
Yeah, yeah.
Highway 1 or whatever it is, cranking that album. I remember the day it came out, Nick Reeves threw it on for us, and we sat in his little area in the garage and we listened to it all the way through. And we're all kind of looking at each other like, is this the next phase of Arctic Monkeys? Okay. And the album just grows on you, like all their albums do.
Mhm.
And then we saw them, or when they put it out, they still had all the long hair and everything. And then when we saw them the next time, a few months later, was at Outside Lands.
Oh yeah, you're
Uh,
right. Yeah, that's what we
so
saw.
we'd been cranking this album all fucking summer. We're
Yeah,
hyped for them. They come out and they'd cut their hair and they're in leather jackets. They look like greasers. It was so fucking cool.
it was cool.
It
Yeah, it
was
was
so
cool.
fucking cool. And I think that's when they were at the top of their game.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
AM, yes, but like
They were
the
really
band that we knew,
yeah.
before they really, because that album, it's not talked about enough. I feel like Humbug is talked about more just because it's even more of an oddity.
Yeah, yeah.
But Suck It and See is a wonderful, wonderful record. It feels like a 60s pop rock summer record. So there you go.
Dude, it's funny you mentioned the Outside Lands because I know it kind of connects back to our first list, right? Concerts that
Mm-hmm.
we really enjoyed, and yeah, I remember that. And Outside Lands is a summertime, kind of the end of the summer kind of festival. So it's like, yeah, I remember seeing them in the like midday, like on a stage, just
Yeah.
like with all that, their whole get up and everything, and yeah, that album is yeah, it does really. It really does showcase kind of like, or give you that feeling of like summertime and being outside, and yeah, I think it's one of their most underrated albums.
Yeah.
So far, for compared to some of the other ones that are out right now. So,
So good.
dude, what a list! I just want to like listen to all these albums now, man. I'm so sad that
I want to sit in a circle
yeah,
with our legs crossed in front of the record player.
yeah.
Yeah. Jonathan, do you have anything you'd like to share with our dear, sweet, lovely, imaginary audience this week?
What do I have to share? Not much,
What
man.
does he
I
have
gotta
to
say, yeah,
share?
just shout out Crown Royal, Apple, Washington Apple, 7%. Gave it a try this week. I thought it was actually pretty good. So they have a peach version. I picked these up at Target when I was there last, so might try the peach one next. And yeah, that's kind of it.
Lovely.
Joey, anything you want to share to anyone today?
Yes, I can't remember if I've already shared this or not. I don't think I got to it last week. I got this book in the airport on the way to Colorado last month. Permanent Record, Edward Snowden.
Oh, Edward Snowden. Okay.
It's fan-fucking-tastic. This is going to be what I do after we get off of here. It's like I've got like 20 pages
Finish
left.
that, yeah.
It's so good. I mean, do you know anything about Snowden?
Oh yeah, he exposed quite a lot of stuff from the government, and he is currently not in the country, right?
He's in like Moscow or something.
So he doesn't get prosecuted over here. But yeah, I mean, his whole thing was like, it brought to light a lot of like, yeah, what the government is not really telling us, and whether or not people agree or disagree with his actions and how he came about to release that kind of information to the public. At the same time, it's like, yeah, this stuff is being kept from the public and a lot of people, and how information, especially within the digital age and within the government, how that is being handled and kept from us, especially with, I think the whole thing with him was the cell phones and how they're obviously being able to track us and listen in on our conversations and stuff. So yeah, he's a very interesting character. I actually think I watched, didn't he? I think he was on like Joe Rogan show like last year or something like that.
He's been on it twice, I think, but they're all like 3-hour episodes, and it's mainly just him talking. It's fascinating. That's where I first kind of was like, he kept mentioning his book, and I guess it worked because I was like, I gotta fucking read that. And it's I can't put it down. It's so good. Yeah.
What's the what I guess to kind of maybe sum it up? What's kind of the main things he talks about in there? Is it his experience just dealing with all this stuff, or is it kind of the aftermath? Or
he, kind of goes from the time he was a boy. It's a biography, but it's all kind of like through the lens of like, this is why I love my country. This is why I went to serve in the first place. I come from a long line of, it's all about the influence of his family, the military, his love of country, and also his love of computers. And like gaming and all that kind of thing, and how all that ties together. There's a love story. It's very good. I can't recommend it enough.
Dude, I'm actually kind of curious now because I would love to know more about him. I only know so much of, from what we've seen in the news and obviously the recent, his exposure to the government. But to understand who this person is and, how they got to that point where they're thinking this way, I think is always a good thing. So, that's cool, dude. Is that the only kind of book on him like that, or like his kind of biography, or?
I think the only one that he's written.
He's written. Okay.
I don't know though.
Man,
but
that sounds super. I might.
It's very good.
Very curious about that now. Just
highly recommend.
I'd like to know more about him. So, yeah.
To me, it's more about like, what did the fucking government, what are they doing? And like, nothing's safe. Nothing. It's kind of disheartening. It's but it's weird because it's also hopeful at the same time.
Yeah. So, this might spark more discussion and more awareness on this kind of stuff. So yeah, good. I like that.
There we go. Yeah,
book to give us. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, sir, where can we find more of your work on the internet this week?
Oh, yeah. You guys can find me on Instagram at SeanDayMusic. You'll see my tag just below me right here. I have a website, SeanDayMusic.net. Net. Just revamped it, put some new photos, and trying to fix stuff up on it. And then I'm in this production group, the Sonic Writers, and we did make a website recently too. Visit thesonicwriters.com. Check it out. Listen to some music. And that's, I think, it. Joey, where can we find you on the internet?
You can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Joey Parati, and on my website, joeyparati.com. You can check out the show at Top 5 Pod. It's TOPFIVE 5 POD on Instagram, on Twitter, at gmail.com, on Facebook at Top 5 Podcast. We're on Apple Music, Google Play, SoundCloud, Anchor, and YouTube, and Spotify, and all the rest. So please give us a like, give us a listen, give us a follow, give us your love, and we will give you...
Man, all that in return. I don't know what that is.
This is
I don't know what
that. This is all that. Until next time, I'm Joey Parati.
I'm Sean Day.
Thanks for listening.